Hey guys, before we jump into this video today, I just want to give a massive thank you to the sponsor of this video, Squad OV. Why is Squad OV so good? Well, Squad OV records all of your games. You essentially just download the app, you install an add-on, and then all your games are kind of segmented and you can watch them back at any point in time. Really good if you're looking to improve quickly. You can watch all the games, you can see when damage came out, when you took it. So here, look at that, it took 5.2k DPS here. You can see the players you versed, you know, what gear they had, all this kind of good stuff. As you can see, I got 240 eye level, awful, no weapon, unfortunately. You know, we're versing some people who have weapon. Feels bad, man. But ultimately, really good app. You can see exactly what happened. You know, also like which things died and what, like where the damage came from. It's crazy how much detail is in this. Please go and check them out. I've got a link in the description below. Anyway guys, hope you enjoy the vid. Take it easy. Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another video where we discuss Venthyr and Kyrian. I think this topic has sort of been run down to the ground, but judging from a lot of comments and what people are feeling generally just in the game, I just wanted to discuss and address, you know, why does Kyrian feel so much better? Like, honestly, it feels like 2 or 3 times better in my opinion than Venthyr does right now. So, firstly, I want to say that I don't think Venthyr by any means is weak. I think it's pretty like strong still. Like you can still hit huge crits if you're well geared, well statted. You get the right crits, you just win a game like that. You still have pretty good mobility with Dora Shadows. You know, the ability from Naja giving you that reduced root effect does kind of, you can kind of feel that sometimes. Or if you're on Dauntless Duelist, you get 3% extra damage. And Nimble Steps is actually kind of annoying, like to verse. I definitely felt like when I versed hunters who had Nimble Steps, you could really kite actually if you get Nimble Steps procced and run away with it. However, what you have to compare it to is Kyrian, which does feel much stronger. Condemn right now is still magic damage, and Kyrian has, like, the balancing act with Kyrian is that it's kind of purely physical. You have a spear every minute that does not too much damage in actual arcane damage, but all the damage is physical. You can kind of mitigate it with other means. However, right now with spear doing so much damage, if you have the legendary and armor values dropping, it really feels like Kyrian has both magic and physical benefits that are really hard to deal with. The other thing to consider is that the comps that people are playing right now are heavily melee cleave oriented, which Kyrian is actually stronger into, in my opinion, and stronger played with, because if you're like playing turbo, you're playing TSG, you can use the spear as an every 1 minute go. It lines up really nicely with a lot of other cooldowns from other classes like Blind Sleet, Doom Winds, DHs, I'm sure have something. I don't know anything about Demon Hunters, I swear to God. But ultimately that spear lines up really nicely. You can kind of run away when you don't have spear, if you're just tanking damage from like a rep paladin, and you can use spear aggressively and defensively if you're playing caster melee, especially with 8 seconds. It's just a really good peel. With Condemn, you still do get the heal from Condemn, which is okay. I think this stacks to like 5 or 6k. But it's almost like, because you're facing a lot of melee cleaves, the biggest benefit of having Death Sentence, which is the charge, you kind of lose that, which is kind of annoying, right? If you think about it, is losing Death Sentence, because why Death Sentence makes such a big impact is when you're versing something like casters, or a boomkin, or something that's just constantly running that you can keep charging to. It's still really good into BM hunters and stuff like that. However, you don't have this, like, you don't really need this if you're facing a melee cleave where they're going to be in your face, and when you have a spear which just locks them down for you for 8 seconds. So, you know, all things that kind of push Venthyr kind of closer to what it was early season 1, where, you know, you didn't really need the spear as much. I guess the other thing is that, you know, like I said before, armor values have been nerfed by 10%, and this is to make way for the new sort of gear. So once we're in full, you know, 259 or whatever that max eye level is, your armor is going to sort of be back to where it would be, and it'll sort of feel similar. However, that's kind of made Venthyr feel a bit weaker, and it's made Kyrian feel stronger because you're doing so much melee damage, like physical melee damage, whereas, you know, you probably got, like, let me see if I have a game. Is there anything saved? No, nothing saved, but largely I feel like a lot of your damage is shadow as Venthyr, which just doesn't feel too good when you could be doing way more damage just hitting a normal execute. Final point which I'll make is that we don't have access to probably one of the biggest things that might make Venthyr, which is the final rose. So the final rose of Naja is this 10 seconds of 20% extra damage, which could be really, really good, especially right after the haste benefit. So essentially you have, like, you know, 20 seconds of huge amounts of damage. If you line that actually up with Avatar, you know, that's going to slam. You know, just Avatar and that'll scale really, really nicely. You'll do huge amounts of damage. And as we've seen before in other patches and sort of last season, it feels like Kyrian as a base set is very, very strong, you know, but as gear gets better and as, you know, comps kind of change, the game goes into more dampening, it does sort of feel like Venthyr sort of catches up and then overtakes it by, you know, I'd probably say 6 to 12 weeks into the patch, or 6 to 10 weeks into the patch. So about 2 months, in my opinion, is sort of where last season, where you saw this big change from Kyrian to Venthyr. And then this season, you know, you're seeing all the Venthyrs go back to Kyrian because of the spear, and then they'll probably come back to Venthyr as damage scales up, and maybe there's any tuning on that spear, because it kind of does feel like the spear legendary is a bit insane. My final point is that you have File as Kyrian, and File in a very bursty meta is actually really strong, especially against Assassin rogues, against ferals where you can clear all the bleeds, but also against Shackle. Shackle completely negates, you can Kyrian File the curse that the Shackle puts on you, and it's completely negated. It just removes the Shackle. It stops channeling it. When you consider how, like, big Shackle is into warriors, because you don't really have a stop for it, except for leap, and if you don't have leap, you don't have fear, you know, the Shackle kind of slams you, just kind of goes through all your armor and pumps. You know, having a File that can negate that and possibly negate 2 of them is really, really valuable. So I think, like, all these things together is what's making Kyrian feel just so much better than Venthyr does right now. However, I still think for a lot of you guys going Venthyr, you don't necessarily have to swap right now. I think Venthyr is, like, equal, if not a little bit better in 2 still. I'm not actually 100% sure of that. I mean, I'd actually feel like Kyrian a lot of the times is actually stronger because you just have really big goes, especially on Resto Druids with the spear. You know, you can do huge amounts of damage. However, I do think Venthyr will catch up. I wouldn't necessarily swap. If you were kind of leaning towards swapping anyway, and you haven't used any Soul Cinders on a 262 legendary or 249 legendary, I would say, yeah, go for it. However, right now we're not 100% sure where this meta is going, in my opinion. Like, I think there's probably going to be some tuning relatively soon, because there's just so many weird things happening in terms of damage and you know, the pace of the game kind of feels weird. Like, it's really, really fast, but then it's getting to the stage where, you know, you're killing something in 0.2 seconds and then you're dying in 0.2 seconds. You know, it's really, really twitchy. Perhaps what will happen in the future is that, you know, we will get some ability to dual spec Covenants, because that would be really cool. It's just really lame because, like, my alt warrior, which is way lower geared, kind of feels better to play than my, you know, I mean, I was stupid because I bought this cape. I didn't buy the weapon, so I will get the weapon soon though. But, you know, it does feel kind of better to play my Kyrian warrior than my Venthyr warrior right now. However, I think with weapon, with a bit more gear, you know, my Venthyr warrior will feel good again to play, and we perhaps will see another change of people going from Venthyr to Kyrian. So ultimately, make your own decision based on what I've put out there. Whether you feel like it's, you know, you want to swap to, what's it called? If you really want to swap to Kyrian, I'd say go for it. It's not like a bad choice at all, and it's not too difficult to swap back. However, like, I don't know, this is like 4 weeks of Soul Ash, my 262 legendary, and I don't know if I can do that much more Torghast. You know, I have 0 Soul Cinders right now, so it'd be like, you know, a month to farm another 262 legendary. So for the moment, I am sticking with the Venthyr boys on my main. I am Kyrian on my ult, and I guess the test will be like, once I get the weapon, which one feels better. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys have been enjoying the content recently. Hopefully the microphone situation's somewhat fixed up. Let me know if it isn't, if it's too loud now, whatever. And we'll have more twos videos probably coming tomorrow or the day after that. But I just wanted to kind of give you guys a bit of thoughts, because I know a lot of people are struggling with this, and unfortunately it's just a fact of the game design. If you've enjoyed this content, please consider liking, subscribing, commenting. It all helps boost this in the algorithm, which ultimately helps more people, you know, get informed and get better at the game. Let me know how you got your seasons are going. You know, I think this is a really good season for Warrior. It kind of seems like Warrior can be put into every comp and is the baseline of every comp. You know, maybe with a new rogue kind of, you know, even just from last season. Let me know what you guys think. Take it easy. Peace out.